Hey guys, Clay here with Bryant Brothers Automotive and Performance. Coming with you today, we finally got this C8 Corvette wrapped up. This has been a long project on this one. So we ProCharged it originally. It went home for a few months. Ended up having a lifter issue like a lot of these LS LT engines do. We brought it back, decided to go ahead and do a cam swap on it, and that's when the trickle effect just started happening. So this right here particularly is a convertible, not a coupe car. So they have a lot of issues, you know, with heat soaking and the mass airflow sensor not being where it should be. The ProCharger kit does not come with a blow-off valve, so just made it really difficult to tune after the cam swap. So we revised a lot of stuff on this. We're going to show you here today, but finally after this long road, you know, we're going to get to send this one home. So we did we dropped the motor out of the bottom. We did a rod and piston combo, put everything back together, aftermarket camshaft, you know, blower camshaft, put it all back together. And like I said, when we got it back together with the ProCharger and all that stuff, it didn't drive like we thought it should. So we got with our friends at ProCharger, got with some friends at BTR, my fabricator guy, and just tried to come up with a solution to make this thing run and drive like it should. So we figured, since, you know, we were doing rods and pistons, we're going this far with the car, you know, why not just go ahead and make it easy while it's out? So these cars, they're only good because they got the dual clutch transmission, much like your GTRs and Lambos and stuff like that. So we got with our friends over at Dodson and CCO Performance, and they hooked us up with an upgraded clutch basket for this, because these are only good for about 700 to the tire, and then they start slipping, which this one was already having issues because it made like right at 700. And so what we did is we decided to go ahead and upgrade the clutches and make everything like it should be. And so while it was out, you know, it wasn't that bad to do. So we, you know, took it apart, sent them the stuff, and you know, they upgraded the clutch basket and we put it back in. This is our first you know, style transmission like this, and but you know, it wasn't terrible. So but anyways, we're going to go in a little bit more depth, and we're going to show you what we had to do as far as fabrication on making this the kit operate like it should with the aftermarket camshaft. So it's kind of hard to tell, but we'll provide you with a picture that's going to display here in a second with how the kit looked before. So this kit right now, so what we did is we had to reclock the supercharger inlet itself to face toward the passenger fender, okay? So once we did that, what we were trying to achieve was having a longer pipe, right? Because the way this ProCharger kit was designed, it only had a piece of pipe about that long, about 4 or 5 inches, and then it had a coupler on each end. And we decided to, you know, while we were at it, we went ahead and maxed the blower out on this thing and did methanol injection. So with that being said, so we were trying to fit a blow-off valve, methanol injection, and a mass airflow sensor all in a 3-4 inch piece of pipe, and it just wasn't working. So what do? You know, we start fabricating, you know, so we start trying to make stuff. So like I said, we clocked the ProCharger. We got the piping, you know, pretty much mocked up to where we got a long 18 to 22 inch piece of straight pipe. You can't really see it, but the mass airflow sensor is actually in the pipe down here. From ProCharger, originally it comes in the intake pipe. So the problem with that we found is, after we did it worked pretty good with the stock camshaft, but once you throw a aftermarket camshaft in the mix and all the idle stuff and timing, it just didn't drive well. It died at idle. It just had a lot of issues. So what we did is we took and see, nobody made anything. We got with our friends at C8 Performance, and they make a similar kit to this to fix the piping and put the mass airflow sensor in the pipe, but nobody did it for the convertible. So what we did is we come up with it and refabricated it and made one for the convertible itself to move the mass airflow sensor into this pipe. Also, the ProCharger kit, you know, doesn't come with a blow-off valve, you know, and like I said, once again, it wasn't a problem with the stock camshaft. You throw an aftermarket camshaft in, and it had an issue. So what we did is we incorporated a Turbo Smart blow-off valve, just the smallest one that they offer right here. So that way, when you're letting your foot off the throttle, you know, it's not trying to blow all that air back out of the front of the supercharger. And you know, it's got somewhere to actually blow off. So, and the reason why we did this, like I said, so this is upstream of the mass airflow sensor, so it doesn't cause any issues. It doesn't leak vacuum. A lot of y'all probably asking that, but it works out really well. Another thing we did, you can see it right here, but this plate right here kind of divides everything for the air filter. There's a duct behind here that actually connects to the vent on that side. We wanted to separate the air filter and get it kind of out of the engine bay, because, you know, the exhaust runs right under this. So what we did, like I said, we created that just to kind of make sure that if it had the possibility of getting cooler air, because these cars heat soak as it is, so we wanted to get as, you know, colder air as it could. So we did that as well. But everything, like I said, this car now runs and drives perfect. Like, it doesn't have, you know, any issues drivability wise. You know, and another thing too, I didn't tell you about the mass airflow sensor. So we incorporated this thing. It's from Mathematics, and so they had this mass airflow sensor converter. So, you know, factory most LS cars, they go from like 0 to 15,000 hertz, which, you know, everybody's accustomed to tuning with. Well, these newer ECUs, Global B, you know, they converted it, you know, from 0 to 15,000. It goes from 15,000 to 0. So that makes it very challenging to tune, especially with a ProCharger and a camshaft and all kind of aftermarket stuff. So Mathematics come out with this genius thing. It's about 350 bucks, but I highly encourage it if you got one of these cars. It's $350, and what it does is it's all plug and play, and it converts it back to the old school LSLT style, from going from 0 to 15,000 hertz, and it makes it so much easier to tune, just like the older cars. But like I said, we fought a long time with this car trying to make it right. Like I said, you know, but now it's finally getting to go home, and so we did the methanol injection. You know, these cars are direct injected, so this car's still on pump 93. It's going to go home for its 500-mile, you know, service or checkup, and you know, he's going to drive it, put the miles on it, bring it back. We'll check the oil, and then we'll put it back on the dyno and actually see what it makes, you know, with it turned up. We'll show you the methanol kit here in the front. I talked to my friend at Alky Control, Mr. Don, and you know, they didn't really have a whole lot for these cars. Not a lot of people had done it, so we tried our best to make it as nice and as clean as possible. All right, so we chose the Alky methanol kit. Don's a good friend of mine. We use his kit a bunch, C7, C8s, Camaros. So great products, highly recommend them. But we took this thing down in here as neatly, and you know, yes, I had to drill some holes and do some stuff like that, but the way that a lot of other people that I'd seen online, you know, wanted it done, it just didn't look good. So like I said, I drilled some holes and made some stuff work, and I think it turned out great. So like I said, this was probably one of the most challenging things we did was this right here, just to make it look as nice and as neat as it did. But anyway, so we're gonna wrap that up, and like I said, once we get the 500 miles, we're gonna put it on the dyno. But I'm gonna crank it up for you real quick. We're gonna let you hear it with the baffles closed and with them open. You tell us what you think. So if you're deciding that you want to modify, cam swap your C8, ProCharger, twin turbo, we're the guys for you. Once again, your Corvette specialist here at Brian Brothers Automotive and Performance.